Hello everyone, this is part 46 of What If Naruto Had the Ultimate Dojutsu, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Next day, hospital. But I said that I'm fine now. I could be training if I'm going to be spending all my time in here. Fu whined as she walked around her hospital room. Right in next to her was Yugito's bed. The blonde Jinchuriki was spending her time reading over the basics of barrier ninjutsu as well as chakra absorption techniques. She wasn't complaining about this downtime. Not having anything to do and just laze around for a while was right up her alley. What would you expect of the Neko Jinchuriki? You might be fine externally, but you might still be injured internally. You have to at least stay for the day after tomorrow, Shizune scolded from in front of the door. She had been arguing with Fu about the procedures of the hospital for at least half an hour. It was obvious that her defeat had left a very bad taste in Fu's mouth. Add that to the fact that she had found a note from Nanabe that she had been given a mission by Naruto and wouldn't be back for a few days had irked her. I said I was fine. I can do things just as well as anyone else, Fu uttered as she folded her arms. Shizune sighed and Yugito gave a small smile on her face. She watched as the brunette medic Nin came up to the Nanabe Jinchuriki and proceeded to S her on the back. Immediately Fu shivered as a shock of intense pain went through her body. It made her feel weak in the knees, but she didn't show any signs that it affected her. See, you're still hurt and you need to rest. If you're bored then you could look over the security seals for Konoha. They've been in need of revisions for a good long while, Shizune said, trying to get Fu in a happier mood. Fu just responded with a snort and climbed back into bed. She was a damn Tokubutsu Jonin, why was it that she could still be ordered around like this? Shizune turned around and left, allowing for Fu and Yugito to be alone. Yugito looked from her scrolls to see Fu looking at the ceiling. I know how you feel, Yugito said, and Fu glanced to her roommate. Yugito's eyes continued to go down the words in front of her, but Fu could see Yugito's hands gripping the edges of the papers. Fu blinked before she was surprised as Yugito threw a scroll to the ground and scoffed. She clenched her fists and looked at her sheets. I was stupid to think that I could take them on myself. It's so stupid to me. I'm a damn Jonin and I can't even defeat one of them. I had to rely on Itachi-san and Sasuke-san to bail me out. I hate it when I think of how close I came to being caught. We would both be gone as if it wasn't for everyone else helping us out, Yugito said, and Fu looked at her bed sheets. I am Naruto-kun's apprentice. I use Fuinjutsu just as well as anyone else and yet I still lost. Even my more powerful jutsu wasn't enough to end one of them. I still need training, Fu said, and Yugito nodded. We both do. Don't worry so much. When you were out I pleaded before Naruto-kun to take me as an apprentice as well. I know to rely on him, but I will stand on my own 2 feet. Don't you want to stand by his side in a fight? Yugito asked, and Fu nodded proudly. Teach me Fuinjutsu, Yugito said, and Fu raised an eyebrow. It's hard work, Fu replied back, and Yugito chuckled. She stepped out of the bed, collected her clothes, and picked up the scrolls that had fallen on the floor. She glided towards the windows and grinned mischievously to Fu. Well then it's good that I'm stubborn, Yugito said, and Fu watched the Nibi Jinchuriki disrobe and quickly place on her clothes. Yugito smiled and Fu did so as well. She got up from the bed and unsealed a pair of clothes. With both of them dressed, Yugito opened the window and hopped on the ledge. Teach me to use Nanabe's chakra, Fu said, and Yugito looked back. She saw Fu's confident grin and couldn't resist the next smirk that came widely across her face. Well, I know that'll be some work, but then again, what isn't? Yugito asked, and Fu shrugged her shoulders. How angry do you think they are going to be? Fu asked, and Yugito shrugged her shoulders. Oh, they'll be pissed off. I don't doubt it, but I'll be damned if I stay here. Cats are very adventurous, you know, Yugito said, and Fu nodded. The green-haired Kunoichi closed her eyes for a few seconds and then opened them. Both hopped out of the window and landed on the rooftops. The first lesson that Naruto-kun taught me in Fuinjutsu is, both knew what they were doing. They just had to get stronger and prove that they could stand as equals to the others. They didn't need protect and they didn't need to have others thinking they would be holding them back. They did indeed know what they were doing. They also knew just one thing. Shizune, and possibly Tsunade, would be so pissed when she learned what they did, but what could they do? They had their pride after all. Hokage Mansion. And the Hyuga clan has finally come to a decision. After much debate with the side branch and main branch. All sides feel that it would be more beneficial if the cage bird seal were removed from all side branch members. There have been no reported deaths in the clans since we've come to this decision, Hiashi said with a bow towards Naruto. The Rokudaime Hokage nodded and crossed his fingers together. Good Hiashi, I just want to make sure that my shinobi are safe. Have the side branch report to this location in exactly 2 days, Naruto said and Hiashi nodded with a bow as he left the room. Silence came over the entire room and Naruto suddenly grinned as he signed the last of the Doent papers. A knock came on his door and Naruto noticed Kurenai in front of him. Finished with work Naruto-kun? Kurenai asked and the blonde stretched out his back. Finally is what I say. I have nothing else today right. I got all the work for yesterday, tomorrow, and the day after done, Naruto said and Kurenai smiled gently with a nod of her head. Yes Naruto-kun, your work is done for today. I still have to stay and categorize some of them, but you are free to leave if you so wish. It's odd, Shizune told me to always be on the lookout if you were caught sleeping or drinking. So far, you've done neither once. It must be Tsunade-sama's thing, Kurenai assessed and Naruto chuckled. That sounds like Bar-chan's niche alright. Well I'm going to go Kurenai-chan. I'll see you a little later. Right now, I have some important things to do, Naruto said and he quickly disappeared in the Hiraishin getting Kurenai to giggle. UNI compound. Naruto dropped to the ground and quickly discarded his formal Hokage robes. He hung his hat on a hat stand, hung up his robes in his room and quickly grabbed a long sleeve, black shirt and tight blue jeans. He washed his face and combed his hair. He gave himself one more look around before nodding as he ran out of the door. He had sped past any other members who had only seen a whirl of wind in said direction as they had all wondered what happened. Naruto hopped along the rooftops of the civilian streets quickly taking in the sights of his civilians. After the last month since Tsukase's rampage, most of the village was repaired and Konoha wasn't in debt like Naruto thought they were going to be in. Since he had reopened the trade routes with the priceless jewels most merchants were coming to Konoha and doing business. That made it all the more better. Naruto had often wondered what Iwa was doing, especially since, more often than not, he had no idea what the old man, Onoki, was thinking. However, Naruto had to hold off on that for a time. Right now, he didn't want to keep a certain feisty animal in her cage anymore. The blonde panted as he leapt to the ground and caught his breath. He walked up to a nearby park and came up to the fountain at the center of it, or more precisely the person sitting at the center of the fountain. As he walked up to her, he took into account that she had her arms folded, one leg over the other that seemed to be swaying up and down impatiently. You're late, she said and Naruto nodded shamefully. Yeah sorry about that. Hiashi needed me for something that made me run late. I at least got here didn't I? Mind see me some slack Tsume-chan? Naruto asked. Tsume smirked and she looked around to see some of the various couples looking at them both in awe as they murmured to each other. How could they not? The Hokage was right in the public park with them and so was the matriarch of the UNI clan. The biggest clan since the Uchiha or the Hyuga. Not to mention the only clan to ever have been combined from 2 other clans. Well that's alright. The Hokage is very busy after all. You'll just have to make it up to me today, Tsume said getting up and walking away. Naruto groaned to himself as he fell into step behind her. It didn't take long for Tsume to abruptly stop in her walking and turn around. She quickly surprised Naruto as she grabbed his head and claimed his L for her own. Some of the people gasped at such a public display of affection. The K didn't last as long as Naruto probably would have liked, but he loved the taste of Tsume's L over his anyway. They were probably a constant reminder of why he had always felt so attracted to her and why Kobayashi was an A for letting such a diamond go. However, Naruto was now grateful that he did. Both clan heads parted from their moment and smiled. What was that foe? Naruto stopped upon a finger from Tsume's hand covering his mouth. Thank you, was all she said before the two disappeared from view as fast as they had shown up. Hitting the streets, Naruto and Tsume walked across the various shops and stores. Nothing particular caught their interest, but they just enjoyed spending time together. Kuromaru had decided to stay home and play with his granddaughter and daughter. Neither Naruto nor Tsume saw a problem with that, so they didn't really care. I never realized how boring the day is. I usually have my work to keep me around, but this is just insane. So, what do you want, Tsume-chan? Naruto asked, and a smile from Tsume told him that he didn't want to find out. She quickly grabbed him by the hand and started to drag him through the streets. Naruto sweet dropped at Tsume's rough behavior, but hey, this was his mate they were talking about here. Tsume dragged Naruto up some stairs and she pointed to something. Naruto looked up and he smiled as it seemed that Konoha had decided to have a small festival. You're taking me through this, Tsume said, and Naruto just nodded dumbly. He and Tsume entered the roads filled with concession stands and entertainment devices. Most people gave the Hokage and the matriarch of the UNI clan their hellos and bows. It wasn't rare to see the two together, but it always seemed to remind people that they were just as powerful, if not more so, than the Hyuga at the moment. One hot dog, with all the toppings. Tsume yelled out enthusiastically while a man tossed her what she wanted. Tsume licked her L while Naruto paid for the food. He watched as Tsume ate her food while they walked through the festival. I haven't been here since Hana and Kiba were pups. It brings back memories, Tsume said, and Naruto chuckled while looking around. Yeah, sorry to say, but festivals and me never got along, Naruto said, and Tsume frowned as she turned to her mate. That's right, he had a reason to not like festivals. UNI compound. Kyubi sighed as she leaned back against a chair. In front of her was a book that she had been reading, but that hadn't been very distracting for her from the pain. Since the mention of another pregnancy through the compound, everyone was more on edge than ever, and with obvious reason. Some of the clan had taken precautions for Kanari and her child, as a few of them had been stationed around the house. They wouldn't dare to have something else worry them half to death like Kasumi did. Kyubi had gotten a little more wider, but she still held her firm figure. When Tsunade had asked about such a thing, even Kyubi didn't know. Neither Kyubi, Nibi, or Nanabi were ever pregnant. Also, despite being a pervert, and quite experienced in the knowledge of Nibi was actually a virgin. Nanabi was just picky, and Naruto was probably the first one that Nanabi had, actively, expressed an interest for. It never unnerved Kyubi, especially since she, herself, had given her body and will to Naruto. Now she was carrying the product of that decision. It made her slightly ashamed that she hid it, but somewhere she was proud that she was able to hide something from Naruto for a good 4, going on 5, months. No matter what, this child was going to be strong. Just like his father and mother. Now that I think about it, what do you call a half-human, half-Beiyu child? Kyubi thought, but she didn't really care. She just glowed while she rubbed her stomach. Now she saw just what Kasumi had always been going on about with her smiles. You're a natural, Kanari-sama. You look so happy. Kyubi turned her head in shock of someone watching her, but she settled as Kasumi, and Yuna, sat down next to her. Kasumi cooed as Yuna played with her mother's hair. She held it in her hands and even tried to eat it a few times, which Kasumi jerked away. It's still too early to decide that, Kyubi said in thought. Kasumi just smiled while Kyubi looked down as Kasumi let Yuna onto the floor. Yuna crawled snuggled to the soft fur and she noticed Ryo coming up to her. Kasumi smiled as Ryo jumped on Yuna's head, getting a giggle from the baby. So, mother to soon-to-be mother talk. Of course I know it hurts, but how much does it hurt? Kyubi asked, and Kasumi looked up at the ceiling. If I had to give it anything to say, then I guess I would say, it's like having your arms and legs attached to 4 horses as they run in separate directions. I don't even know how I did it, Kasumi said, and Kyubi chuckled nervously. Damn it, Naruto-kun, why did you have to screw me so many times? We could have stopped at some point. Sure, I wanted it, probably more than you did, but come on, Kyubi thought before sighing. She got up and Kasumi looked back. Where are you going? She asked, and Kyubi groaned. To go eat. I have a craving for sushi, wasabi, and chocolate. In that order. Kyubi shouted as she opened the main door and it shut. Kasumi flinched while Yuna blinked. She had no idea what was going on and she wouldn't know for a very, very long time. Kasumi sighed and held up a ball. Alright Yuna-chan, see the ball. See it? Kasumi asked and Yuna's eyes swayed back and forth on the ball in front of her. She, involuntarily, let out a small bark of her voice and Kasumi blinked. Must be the dog part of her, Kasumi wondered before she threw the ball. Yuna giggled and crawled for the ball that seemed to mysteriously appeal to her for some odd reason. Kasumi giggled as Yuna chewed on the ball with her non-existent teeth. Back with Naruto. It was getting late as Naruto opened his eyes. He had fallen asleep from all of the playing around he and Tsume had done. He tried to lean up, but he noticed Tsume leaned under his N. He smiled and wrapped his arms around her waist. He closed his eyes for a little longer and guided his L to Tsume's cheek. He gave a quick K to her cheek and leaned back up. He looked up and sighed. For some reason, as he laid there, his thoughts went to Kiba and Hana. Sup Tu-san, how was your day? He's right Tu-san. You're our Tu-san and that's just the way it is, those words lingered in Naruto's mind. Each time he had been called that, he had shouted at both not to call him that, but now that he thought about it, he wondered if he should. They were technically right in that regard, but it felt weird in that aspect. Still Naruto give it to them if they wanted. If Yuna was going to call him Tu-san, or Tu-chan in the future, then he felt that allowing Kiba to say it was fine as well. Maybe it was just from Naruto's perspective. Oh man, it looks like I dozed off, Tsume said stirring. Yeah, you looked so peaceful with the drool going down your face, Naruto said and Tsume quickly brushed her L only to see that there wasn't any there. She glared back to Naruto and the blonde just smiled. Good evening to you, he said and Tsume gave a light growl of her mate's playfulness before she looked up to see the sun going down. We should get home now, she said and Naruto agreed. The two began their trek back home and they were almost there, before both their stomach growled at the same time. Naruto chuckled and Tsume sighed. They glanced to each other and nodded. Naruto grabbed Tsume's arm and guided her towards a restaurant. Next morning. Are you okay Kasumi-chan? Naruto asked and Kasumi smiled with a nod of her head. Thank you Yugao-chan. You really saved her, Naruto said and Yugao waved it off that it was just her doing her job. Naruto then turned to Genra, Hairu and S.A. Also thank you guys for your efforts. I don't even want to think of what was going to happen. To think that old man would go this far, Naruto said and Hairu stomped the ground. Damn rock-loving pricks. They're underestimating us because of the Ruby incident. We should destroy them. Hairu shouted before he was smacked over the head by Genra. Remember your place Hairu. Now isn't the time for another war. It's not going to be that easy, Genra scolded while Hairu sighed. Naruto shook his head at them both before getting up. Nanabe took Tayuya and Kimimaro so I guess I could do some more. Yugao-chan, is Yugito-chan still here? Naruto asked. Yugao nodded and proceeded to speak. Yes, ever since she and Fusan had escaped from the hospital then she's been in the backyard training with her, Yugao said and Naruto chuckled. That's my girls, he thought, inwardly glowing with pride that his girls escaped the hospital. He did also. He was just as stubborn like that. Alright then, please tell Yugito-chan that until Tayuya-chan and Kimimaro return, I would like her to be in charge of guarding Kasumi-chan for the duration of Nana's mission. Also, where is Ni-chan? Naruto asked referring to Nibi. He hadn't seen her for a while and he felt like he was justified to feel a little worried. Well I'm glad you care about me Naruto-kun. Ni's right here, Nibi said and everyone turned their heads to the window. Naruto opened said window and looked up to see Nibi hanging upside down in front him. Ni, where have you been for the last few days? Naruto asked and Nibi smiled. In the forest of death training some of your subordinates in Kaiten techniques. They are all still beneath the dirt, but they show progress, Nibi explained. Naruto raised an eyebrow, but something told him that he wouldn't be figuring out anything today. Right. Well Ni, can you get me Fu? It's time for us to start. Genra get the perv and Yugao, please get Ka-chan, Naruto said and everyone nodded as they left the area. Naruto turned to see Kasumi cradling Yuna and Naruto smiled. I really am glad you're alright, Naruto said getting a nod from Yuna. Something I learned Naruto-sama. Mothers are scary, Kasumi said with a pleasant giggle. It made Naruto inch away just a little bit out of uncertainty of his woman at the moment. He just placed his Hokage cloak down and went out of the door. Sealing area. Naruto, Jiraiya, Kushina and Fu stood around the area as Naruto had already beckoned for the side branch to make their way towards this area. As Naruto had wanted, there had been no reported deaths in the clan since he had ordered this to come about. It made Naruto happy that his orders were being followed, but he couldn't stop the worry of something. Maybe it was nothing. Are you guys ready? Naruto asked as he finished his section of the swirl seal. On the floor was a gigantic seal of the Uzumaki clan and 4 corners of it went to the wall where there were places for 4 people to sit and do what they wanted. This sealing place was actually the place where Kasumi had her child. It was the only place big enough to house everyone and to get it done at once. Ready when you are, Naruto-kun, Fu said, finishing her section. Kushina nodded, finishing, and so did Jiraiya. They all looked over the seal and nodded to themselves. Everything is in place, Sochi, Kushina said while Naruto wiped the sweat from his face. Well then let's not keep them waiting, Naruto said, getting the 3 seal masters and 1 seal expert to nod. It was a long and tedious process to get the side branch situated into the room and then place them in the exact places of the swirls. All Hyuga, single, couples, or kids, were placed down around the swirl seal. Alright everyone, I just want you to know, this is going to hurt. Probably not badly, but it will make you squeamish. I ask that you not move at all during this procedure. You all want to be rid of this thing, right? Naruto asked, and all side branch members nodded as some even started to cry from relief. In front of Naruto was Neji. It had been Naruto that said for Neji to be at the exact tip of the spiral. Neji seemed ready for anything and Kushina's voice rang. Alright then. All shinobi take off your headbands, she ordered. All did so and laid their headbands down in front of them. They all still sat in that polite posture, but Naruto or anyone else didn't correct it. We're not sure how long this process will take, so please be patient with us. Don't worry, by the end of the day you will be fine, Jiraiya said, and everyone nodded again. Naruto, Kushina, Fu and Jiraiya went to the 4 corners and knelt down. Time seemed to stand still for everyone before they noticed everyone shout at the same time. Uzumaki no Fuin, Daidatsuraku, Whirlpool Seal, Great Detachment, all 4 shouted and the side branch gasped as the swirl seal beneath them light up entirely and they all seemed anxious, but this was what they wanted. To be free. The 4 Fuinjutsu experts poured their chakra into the seal and remained steadily calm. Naruto stilled his breathing and so did the others. Everyone heard grunting and turned to see the light overtaking one side branch member's forehead. He sweated as the cage bird seal began to recede into nothingness. It took about 5 minutes, but the seal faded from view and the male breathed a sigh of relief. The seal went to the next person, then the next, and so on and so on. It continued this way as members began to lose their seals. They were shouted joys to anything, and while some of the kids winced, they didn't say anything. They might not have known just why this was being done, but they liked it nonetheless. The light went full circle around the swirl and lastly, it came to Neji. Neji felt the immense pain on his forehead and quickly summoned his will to allow it. He felt a heavy fire burning his head, but at the same time it made him want to just break down and cry. With every 30 seconds, a portion of the seal would leave. Neji clenched his clothes as the other members continued to watch as the seal left Neji's skin. Neji could hear the gasps, the yaws, the happy crying as mothers and fathers hugged their children. If only his father could see this as well. Very soon, Neji felt calm. He felt much better. He opened his eyes and he noticed that the swirl seal wasn't lighting anymore. He looked around and he noticed members of his family smiling at him. Neji touched his forehead, but it felt normal. Someone handed him a mirror and Neji took it. He looked at it and shivered. His legs felt weak, but he managed to summon up some will and walk towards Naruto. Naruto panted, as did Kushina, Jiraiya and Fu. They were all exhausted. 5 hours of pure unsealing. Thank Kami for their massive chakra reserves, or this never would have been possible. Naruto heard walking and he opened his eyes to see Neji in front of him. He raised an eyebrow and everyone was stunned as Neji fell to his knees and bowed his head low enough to the ground for his own forehead to touch it. Thank you, Naruto-sama, he said as a few tears started to fall from his eyes. Thank you so much, Neji said, and Naruto smiled. No need for thanks. What are friends for? Naruto said, and Neji just chuckled out offsobbed against the ground, which was feeling rather warm for some reason. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.